Hey everyone, welcome back. Tonight we're going to be talking about Tom Ford Noir De Noir. It came out in 2007. I've got my little Nordstrom decant I got from a friendly sales associate. I thought it was really interesting out of the whole private blend line. I've smelled a lot of them, but I thought this was a fascinating scent. I've actually had this for a couple months. I haven't reviewed it yet. I think personally, I love it. I actually love this fragrance, but I'm not going to buy a bottle. Why is that? Because this is too formal. This is such a formal smell. You can't just wear this scent. Like people are like, oh, go out to wear it to a bar. Oh, go out to wear it to a club. Oh, go out to wear it to a date. This is such an intimate and formal smell. You have to be dressed up to wear this. You can't just, I cannot wear this in what I'm wearing. I could because I'm home, but I would not recommend it. The notes in here are rose, patchouli, truffle, saffron. I'm remembering it from my head. Oud. Did I say vanilla and oak moss? So some people might interpret this as kind of gourmandy. It's not. This is very floral, earthy. This is not a safe blind buy, and this is, in fact, I would consider this a challenging fragrance. I think it's absolutely beautiful. Like I said, I love it. I can't buy a bottle because I've worn this a couple times for my little decant here, and I was just dressed in kind of normal clothes, nothing overly dressed up, and I felt I was out of place. I was not congruent with the statement, the fashion statement I was making. In fact, I kind of felt uncomfortable. I felt awkward because this projects and it has good longevity. People are going to smell this on you, and you know that they're smelling it on you because this thing has a impressive projection bubble. Actually, a lot more than I was expecting. I just finished reviewing Nasomato Pardon right here, and this projects a lot more than that does. And I've got my Pardon right here because there's a point I want to make. People, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's marketing hype. I don't know if people aren't smelling it right, but people say, oh, there's dark chocolate in here. Chocolate and roses, the Valentine's Day scent. There is no chocolate in here. I just did a review of this that has chocolate and patchouli. People are confusing the patchouli in this maybe with the truffle for dark chocolate, which is absurd. There's no chocolate in here. I'm telling you, from a fragrance I just talked about with chocolate, there's no chocolate in here. Maybe the patchouli is kind of that earthy, moist, and it's kind of maybe sweetened by the vanilla, and maybe it's like playing a trick that you think it's like some kind of very dark, lightly sweetened chocolate, but there's no chocolate. Maybe it's with the truffle, and if people interpret it as chocolate and roses, that's fine. Maybe I'm just being really picky, but I don't think that's accurate, and I don't think that's fair and honest to tell people, oh, this is a rose and chocolate fragrance. This is a very earthy, moist rose. There's the whole concept of the fragrance was, oh, this is a balance of masculinity and femininity. So it's got heavy masculine notes like the oak moss and the patchouli, and then it's got feminine notes like the rose and the saffron. I think it's a really cool concept, and I like this fragrance. It's just not an easy wear for people, and I could never buy a bottle because I'd never go through it my whole lifetime. You got to wear this to like a black tie event. You got to wear this to a wedding. Maybe you could wear it, once a year to New Year's if you wanted, depending on the setting, depending on how well you're dressed. You got to be wearing a tie to wear this, and I'm serious. People are like, oh, how could it make that much of a statement? It does. It's so elegant, and like I said, it's so good, but it just screams money, and it says money. So if you're not dressed like money, there's like an incongruence. You know what I mean? It's like you're wearing a Rolex and rags. You know what I mean? It's just not congruent. Like there's something wrong or missing there. And for my personal fashion statement, like, yeah, I like to dress up, but I'm not wearing like black tuxedo suit, those garden parties, oh, fancy, like weddings. I'm not going to many of those, and certainly not enough to drop, $200 for fragrance I would just wear for those specifically, and this might not always even be my first reach for those kinds of events. So I'm happy with this decant. I've got 1 milliliter left, and it's maybe 2 wears, at least one. And I've been sitting on it for months. This has been here for months, and I haven't grabbed it because it's never just been something like, oh, Tom Ford Noir De Noir. There's always been something else more fitting for that situation, where a lot of fragrances are like, Swiss Army knives, where it's like, oh, it can be good for this or this. And this is only good for formal events. The rose is really nice. It's kind of that green cut stem. It's not mashed up ground, soapy rose. It's fresh cut stem rose. Beautiful rose. One of my favorite rose fragrances. The patchouli is kind of that moist, earthy. So it's not quite my favorite patchouli, and it sounds like a hypocrite if you just watch my NASA Model Pardon review, because I'm like, oh, the patchouli in here is so good. But it works in that, but not necessarily in this. And then you have the truffle note, and you know, it just kind of adds that mushroom earthiness. Oak moss, I can pick it up. What's interesting and what's cool, maybe not cool, I don't know, is I can pick up each individual note in this, and that's not something I can do with a lot of fragrances, especially zoologist fragrances. Like it's just zoologist fragrances, like you need like an encyclopedia and all day to figure out all the the notes in there. Whereas this, it's like, oh, I can pick that up and that up. So it's challenging, but not challenging at the same time. Isn't that kind of a conundrum where you understand what's in it, but at the same time, it's like, ooh, this is hard to wear. Very beautiful. You know, maybe I'll get a bigger decant someday. Maybe when I'm older and more mature and I'm going more to these events, I can, start using it more. But for now, I don't want to say I'm too young for it, because, I'm not necessarily too young for it, but this is still something that I would recommend for the 35 plus crowd. And it would be a very wise choice for them, and it would be an excellent choice, very elegant. I think it's a beautiful fragrance, just not for me at the moment. Anyways, thanks guys, until next time.